voice especially, have you had that experience, man, where you're working on something? Because you're very much like a prefab product guy, where you're like building things that are going to be sold. You know what I mean? If you like doing working on a project and it's not coming out the way you want it to, and you move to a different one, or do you literally just like stick with the same one until it's done?
No, I'll get mad and I'll see my own anger bubbling up, and I'm not very good at staying focused when I'm pissed at myself, really, for shit up. So I will, like you said, I'll go from the fiber, I'll go, it, I'm gonna do something on the CO2 laser, I'll make a different file for that one, do that, and be like, all right, it, do a fresh stance, or I'll start it over, trying to not repeat the same mistakes, you know, the same thing. I'll come back and just start over from scratch. Instead of trying to keep tweaking as you go, just start the over. You might.
That's a really good one too. That's a really good one too. I have fixed a lot of problems with projects by just throwing everything away and starting over.
Just start over.
Now as a diode, and my friend brought one over. Don't you judge me because I got my hood on. I see you starting that live.
What, are you cold? Is it fucking a whole 50 degrees there?
I keep my garage at like 60 degrees while it's 85 outside. Meanwhile, Kyle destroys his cameras. Where the fuck did Kyle go?
I don't know. Welcome to the Laser Source podcast, the #1 podcast if you need a kick in the ass. You guys remember Winamp?
Hello, and yes.
Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass. Old school. I'm the only one laughing. That's not good. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the show. Dude, abysmal. Look at this. 3 viewers. Vince, Cody, and John are just here.
You attacked people in the thumbnail. Get off your ass. People are like, fuck you. No.
True. Yeah, true. It's true. Whatever, dude. You know what? Maybe just no one's having trouble feeling motivated. I know I have trouble feeling motivated regularly, all the time. And,
we're down to 2. We lost one.
Okay, no, it's updating.
Yeah, we're at 12. It's updating. But no, for real. I get in ruts like literally like weekly. with work, whether I'm doing like actual laser engraving or I'm trying to do like edit videos, or Jimmy's like hollering at me, where's my episode? Matt's like, hey, I have 8 new ideas for 8 new things I want to do for the channel, and I'm just like, and I just don't want to, it's hard. It can suck. So
you can only put so many hours in a row without giving yourself a mental break too. Like,
I usually just send him a message.
Your brain hits a point where it needs something different.
And I'm all for mental breaks, but once you take it, do you have a hard time starting again?
So you're asking,
that's where I get fucked up.
Changing gears, yeah.
A break, do you get mental broken?
Mental broke.
I mean, basically. Because like you do, like it literally, it's like when you take a day off from the gym. Like you're in that gym life and you're like, fuck yeah, I've been to the gym like 25 days in a row. And then you go and get a Philly cheesesteak that one day because you're like, yeah, I deserve this. And then you're like, I deserve another one. I should have a beer. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then for a week straight, you go to the buffet.
That's what I did with Pokemon cards. Look, I was like, I deserve a pack of Pokemon cards.
I deserve all of them.
Yeah.
By a pack, I mean fixation on something that makes me happy.
Yeah, just that serotonin constantly.
Yeah.
So when transitioning back from taking a break and getting into work, do you guys have anything in particular you like to do to kind of like start the engine back up? You know what I mean? How are you?
A list.
Depends on what part of the job you have to start up with.
Do you make you make like separate lists for different kinds of tasks like home and work, or do you just have like one giant to-do list? And
no, I have literally a note on my iPhone here. It says to-do lists, and I just list them out, and I'll cycle them up as I get them done. And if something's been at the fucking top for too long, I'm like, son of a bitch, you got to get that done. So that's my way of, that's the military.
That's your target for the day.
Say like I was the guy that carried around a notebook when the captain said yada yada yada. I wrote all that shit down, something like a fucking idiot later, you know. So
I need to start doing that because the way I use Google Keep, then it like, you know, it's the same thing. And but my list goes from top to bottom, and the bottom is the newest stuff. So I'm always ending up like, when you open it back up, it starts at the bottom, at the last thing you wrote. So all the shit that's been up at the top for like 3 months or whatever, I just don't even look at it because I'm always down at the bottom. See, I need to start doing it the other way and start at the top so that the top stuff, you know, stuff has been there longest.
I'm a list guy too, and I'm a visual person. Like I got so many things going on because I got kids, I got school, I got the kids' school, I got wife, you know, all that shit. And so is somebody watching YouTube? And so what I've got right here is like, here, hold on, how to do this? Should I add the stream? There you go. This is Microsoft To Do. Look at this. It makes me feel good, like you're saying, like all the shit that's done. Yeah. So this is for like so this was like the past month and a half, right?
Yeah.
So literally just everything. So acrylic, wedding list, blue, silver, power banks, trophies and cups, ornaments, blah, blah. Like, see, like 185. That one felt good to cross off. And so like, and then when you do it, it actually goes ding. And so it's fun. So just saying, it's super, it is like, you literally are like, oh, feels so good.
John Uffring says, hey, is Jimmy's feed in a vice or what? It's because Jimmy's camera is set to 1080 or 360 in StreamYard, and I don't think he knows how to change it back to 1080.
360?
Yeah, he's been streaming from 360p for like a month, and I just haven't taken the time to fix it yet.
You low definition mother.
Happy anniversary, Jimmy.
Hey. Oh yeah, happy anniversary, Jimmy. Jimmy's anniversary. Guess where Jimmy went for his anniversary dinner?
IHOP.
Florida.
Both really good guesses.
Okay, that means Waffle House.
It's fucking Texas Roadhouse, dude.
Hey, that's not a bad place.
Texas
okay.
Roadhouse.
Never had a bad meal there yet.
Hey, it's better than Cracker Barrel, I can tell you that.
Miranda's like, I need a steak now because, you know, with the baby, it's just if she gets a whiff of something, she's just like starts foaming at the mouth.
Animals must die for my children.
She's saying, "Don't judge, Mr. Olive Garden." All right. Anyway, we're off topic. Okay, so we got lists. We got list making. List making is good. Sometimes I can get a little too absorbed in making lists because I have like 8 million lists. Like my Google Keep is like just a monster. So one thing that I want to mention is that like for me personally, sometimes like I just have to start doing. Like I just have to like start anything, and it doesn't really matter what it is. And once I kind of get that first thing done, it doesn't matter if it's the most important thing or the least or the hardest or the easiest. Once I get something done, like I find I have like 10 times more energy to move on to like another task, you know, and then I can prioritize a little bit. I just did that with Jimmy's air assist video because I hadn't edited an episode in like 2 weeks. I think I hadn't touched anything. We were like eight podcasts behind. I was really slagging from like the holiday break. It was really, really hard for me to get started again. And Jimmy, thank God for him, hounding me constantly, just incessantly about when his stupid episode was going to go up. And
stupid. See, it even says stupid.
Yeah,
see?
Well, you know what? It's
stupid. It's stupid.
It's stupid because you won't shut up about fucking making me do it. But then I did it, and I felt a lot better. I felt like so much better. After that, I was able to catch up on all the podcasts. I got Matt's episode done. We're halfway through the next edit. Like, it was all because I started that Jimmy episode.
You got house coma is what you got. You need to get your ass out of the house.
I get house calls from you.
And you don't answer them, so that ain't doing no goddamn good.
No, poor old man. He's so busy worrying about his boyfriend.
He needs to get his ass back to the freaking shop.
It's his anniversary, and he's like, my boyfriend doesn't call me.
So I kind of have the same issue as you, Alex, where my lists are just off the chart long. Like the whole height of my window is too big to show the list. By the time I'm done scrolling, I've lost track of what's at the top. So what I'll do at the beginning of my day before I start is I'll go through the list, and anything that's top priority, I pull off and make a separate list for. So I'll make a day list out of my overall list.
Mhm.
Anything top priority is going on the today list. Anything that I need to, get done shortly after that goes on after if it's not a top priority. And then that way, if it's not done, it goes back onto the overall list and I make a new list tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and John, where'd it go? John said something similar. Make your bed every day as soon as you get up, so you've accomplished one concrete thing every day, right? So that's pretty solid.
Nice.
Yes.
For me, it's just like have a cup of coffee and take a shit, and don't mix up that order.
Yeah, for me, it's like my kids aren't dead, so I won today. Because my kids are alive. So
like literally, he just starts playing DJ Khaled. All I do is win. Next door neighbors are like, Alex got the kids out of bed and dressed again.
Who mentioned trying something new? Who was that before the show started? One of you guys said, try a new thing.
I think that was Matt.
What did it? I say lots of stage-like things.
Well, I don't know. It was a good idea. I just didn't know if you wanted to expand on it, but I'll expand on it. I guess Matt told me that, if you're in a rut, try something new. There's been a lot of laser projects where I'm or even videos. Again, I'm going to say videos because that's what I do now. But there have been a lot of videos where I will spend 2 weeks writing a script and recording for a video, and I just get stuck and I can't figure something out, or I can't, the project's not coming out the right way. It doesn't look good on camera, so I don't want to show it because I want to show it being done the right way. And I'll just sit there and bang my head into the same wall over and over and over again for days. Sometimes it's best to just stop. I'll just drop entire videos and just go work on a different one. And I think that translates well to laser shops, particularly if you're working on items that are going to be sold. I mean, Boyce especially, have you had that experience, man, where you're working on something? Because you're very much like a prefab product guy, where you're building things that are going to be sold. You know what I mean? If you been working on a project and it's not coming out the way you want it to, and you move to a different one, or do you literally just stick with the same fucking one until it's done?
No, I'll get mad and I'll see my own fucking anger bubbling up, and I'm not very good at staying focused when I'm pissed at myself, really, for fucking shit up. Yeah. So I will, like you said, I'll go from the fiber. I'll go, fuck it, I'm gonna do something on the CO2 laser. I'll make a different file for that one. Do that and be all right, fuck it, do a fresh stance, or I'll start it over. And trying to not repeat the same mistakes, the same thing. I'll come back and just start over from scratch. Instead of trying to keep tweaking as you go, just start the fuck over. You might.
That's a really good one too. That's a really good one too. I have fixed a lot of problems with projects by just throwing everything away and starting over.
Just start over.
You never want to do it because you're I spent so long on this. You know what I mean?
Was it the false investment something or other? Or time investment, something. I forget the terminology for it, but the amount of time you've spent on it makes you not want to give up on it. But sometimes you just need a fresh start.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. I guess that's what I was talking about. It was when we were doing the rotary, these guys know, because it was 2 or 3 in the morning one morning, and I'm looking at the rotary. I know how to fix this, but I can't fix it. And Alex was just go to sleep before you die, because it was 3 in the morning, and I had to go to work in 3 hours. And it was just want to fix, because I just wanted to get done 5. I had an order of 30, and I was I kind of set in my mind that I have to have 5 done today, so I can kind of keep an easy schedule. But then it ends up I lose materials, I lose time, I get frustrated, and what's for what? And then I stayed up another hour and a half later, so my next day is rough. So it's almost like Beam It Up Laserworks, who just donated $2 super chats, because that one. And
thank you, Anthony.
That one.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Serendipity.
So, literally, we're sitting here talking about when you mess up some stuff, but that wasn't a mess up. He loves us. He invests in us. We invest in you, Anthony.
He subconsciously double loves us. He likes us. You know what I'm saying?
And so, anyways, but that's it. And sometimes it's the sleep. But the other thing I do too is to keep myself from getting bored. With those glass ornaments, you have 20 a day. And when you hit it, you stop and you do something else, right? Yeah. And then the other thing too is that I usually 2 days a week I have the rotary set up, and 2 days a week I have, flat stuff. And so things I can just hit X, Y.
Yeah, I learned that lesson pretty early on. I mean, you should know this, Matt. You play video games, but like sometimes when you are just getting bashed by a boss over and over and over again, dude, like you go like make a sandwich or like take a nap or go to bed for the night, you literally sit down on the couch the next day and you whip his ass the next day, like the first try. Because you literally, all you had to do is just walk away from it for like 6 hours.
I just did that with The Last of Us. I was getting demolished in this one room that was just getting like wrecked. And my kids were watching me get mad. And I love it because my sons and daughters are now old enough to like watch me play games. And they go, "Daddy, did you mean to die again?" And I'm just like, "Yep." I said, "No, that's not the point of the game." And the guy, literally my son Cade goes, "You did really good at dying." I was like, thanks. Because I literally like swung the bat at the bad guy and he ripped my face in half. And I was like,
chill.
I'm done. And
You
so
got good, boy.
the kids went and took a nap. And like while they were like, I ate a sandwich and literally went back in and was like, everybody's dead. 100% health. No
Yeah.
So
First of all, one of the best games.
Yeah, for real. We love Last of Us. I haven't watched the show yet. Have you guys checked out the show?
I watched the first episode.
So the third episode, I'm not going to give anything away, but it was really good because Crazy Frank in the town, like they actually Nick Offerman plays him and he's in the previews. So, but they actually completely gave the story. Like one episode is 80% their story.
Is it
just with pre craziness before the town?
Is it going well?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll watch it. Anyway, neither here nor there. Emergencystop.net, I guess. We'll talk about that on Thursday.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Laser Tana says those hoodies are dope, especially this one, Secret Seagull. But yeah, I got these two guys repping the OG. Kyle's repping the modern there.
Jimmy, what you wearing, buddy?
Jimmy's repping the neck brace look because he doesn't want to rip his Laser Everything hoodies.
You got to get a Cricut and put a Laser Everything on there.
I got 2 hoodies I cut, so I just keep switching them back and forth.
He laser cut because we laser everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I trying something new, taking a break, drink, and eat.
Oh, I thought you were saying drink a lot.
Dude, like so much time passes up here, and I just like don't eat.
I'm bad about that.
Miranda was literally telling me today. Miranda was like, "You have not eaten anything today," and she made me eat a bowl of cereal before I like came up here to do the show.
Oh, and you're so much better, man. You're hangry all the time.
Oh, dude, I do
the same thing. It's so easy to get distracted and get invested in what you're doing too. I have a really bad habit of just not drinking enough fluids during the day. So I'll hit like 6 or 8 o'clock at night and I'll be like 12 hours into my day. And it's like, I don't have a drink on my desk. What did I drink today? And I go upstairs, get a bottle of water and realize I'm starting to get a migraine from just dehydration.
Yeah.
Which is another way to feel unmotivated, right? Is just not taking care of yourself. And get up, have a good stretch, consume water.
Thank you for the $20 super chat, by the way, dude. Appreciate that.
By the way,
thank you, Dave.
Going back to what Kyle said about taking care of yourself, Alex, can we get a word from our sponsor real quick one more time like you just gave?
Absolutely. This episode of the podcast, like many others, is brought to you by the Sugar Giant Manufacturing Corporation, Coca-Cola, based right here in the United States in Georgia. And they've been providing healthy, sustainable, long-term ways of staying hydrated since 1919. So thank you, Coca-Cola.
Give that a sip there, Alex. Give that a sip.
I literally just.
Hashtag not sponsored.
I wasn't paying attention, and I looked back, and Alex is literally making a pose like.
Yeah, it was great. Dude, look, Anthony just threw another $2. Do you think that one was by mistake?
One of these days I'll be smart. Promise.
What about you, Jimmy? Come on. I know you're always like,
you're smart, Anthony. We love you, man.
I'm going to go to bed. I have stuff to do. The government's got me down. It's cold. Blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do anything, and yet you get things done. So how do you remotivate yourself when you're feeling like
I know how he does.
How, Matt? Tell me.
Emergencystop.net.
There you go.
Tell me, Matt.
Come on,
He likes to do the extra pictures, the side pictures that he shows. He knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, tell us, Jimmy, what do you got?
Just once you get pissed off at something, you just turn around, just walk away from it and try to do something else. And then you calm down and then you're like, okay, this fucker's not going to beat me. So then I go back at it again. If I get it, that's fine. If I don't, I get pissed off again, walk away from it, and then come back again, Then I start screaming for people for help. If that don't work.
Just a persistence thing. Hey, dude, you know what? That's probably the best thing that you've said all month. Ask for help. If you're struggling and you don't feel like doing anything, or and you're having a hard time getting started with something, involve other people. Even if it's just to throw some ideas around, bounce some stuff off a wall and see how it comes back. Just reaching out.
Just take quick pictures and throw them up everywhere and say, "Okay, somebody help."
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
If you don't have somebody you can bounce ideas off of, or at least you don't feel like you do. Maybe you don't have a friend that's into laser engraving, right?
Yep.
Go to Discord, go to Facebook. We have groups for both. And they are full of people who like to bounce ideas off of each other.
Yep.
So you're not alone. A lot of us have hard days.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be like technical help either. Like you can just be like, I like to think a lot of people don't like to do this in our laser community. And I understand why, but I don't agree with it. That they can't share their AI file, for example, of an ornament or a Valentine, I guess is more theme appropriate, that they're working on, because they're like, if I put this on the Discord, everyone's going to steal it. First of all, even if everybody did steal it, there's so many customers out there that it's going to be washed out in a sea of other stuff that it's not going to make a difference.
You're there to help somebody else. If somebody else finds interest in something that you post and they like it, and they're like, hey, so then you willingly help them out and give out your information. That's what you're supposed to do to help people.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would be sharing those files, because what if they could make an improvement to it that could make it better? We should be working together. But that aside, just putting that kind of stuff out there and getting ideas back from our community, I think would be a great way, even if you don't end up taking any of the suggestions. You know what I mean? It might you might be like, oh, everybody's saying that, this reminds them of this thing. And I was totally going for that thing. I'm going to revamp this from stage 2, you know what I mean? Or reprototype this thing or redraw this outline. And it just little things, little offhanded comments that you wouldn't expect can completely reinvigorate you to restart projects that have kind of been left on the back burner. So that's a really good one, Jimmy. Ask for help. I really like that.
Yep.
Are you saying to hang out with weird people from the internet?
Yeah.
That would do something like that.
Absolutely.
Pretty much
all I do anymore.
Yeah. By the way, I just saw this one from Winton.
It's boring to be normal anyway.
Yeah, I haven't been that since I was 1. So I even sat today and edited a promo the whole time without eating. Self-care. Going back to that self-care idea.
Yeah, your brain doesn't want to work when you don't eat and don't stay hydrated. So
pull that one up from John again, Matt. There.
I meant to click it and I double clicked it. Whoops. So even after you stop doing something, your brain is still working on the problem. That's why when you can't remember something now, a few minutes later it pops in and you're like. And that's with the rotary I was talking about, dude. It literally was just
True.
The next day I came out, looked at the rotary, and I was like, this way. And it was and I was just like, fuck her.
The last of us and Matt sitting there eating his sandwich, but the brain, his subconscious, he's just like,
yeah. I literally, what I literally thought about, I was like, well, what I need to do is throw the 2 grenades out first, back up, get the rifle, shoot him in the leg, then shoot the other leg. It slows him down. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have hot Doritos, and I'm it's not running.
Hot take. I don't think anybody's actually lazy. I made the thumbnails a little clickbaity. I tried to make the title genuine to compensate, but it says "get off your ass." You guys aren't lazy. Don't think that you're like, oh, I'm just too lazy to do this. You're just
sometimes
not.
I'm lazy. Sometimes no.
If you know you want or need to do something, and you don't do it, that isn't always due to laziness. How about that?
That's fair.
Better phrasing for you.
That's fair.
You maybe just need to find some ways to motivate yourselves, and I think that those were a lot of good tips from you guys. Does anybody have anything else on that before we move on for the day?
Well, my thing too is if I'm running out of ways of fixing my file I'm trying to make or whatever, or I'm looking at a problem, like you said earlier, LMA, Discord, Facebook, search bar, you just type in your question or what you're looking at, and son of a bitch, you'll get 20 different ways of doing something, and one of those might click for you. You're like, oh shit, that's where I'm at. That might help. That helps me a lot. Like when it comes to, especially in Lightburn and AI, where I get stuck sometimes. And I'm like, fuck, that was, oh yeah, I got to move that layer up. It's just that simple. You know, like little things. It just,
I agree. The other thing too is like, if not looking at files, looking at my shop, like my Shopify has changed a ton since when I had it first. I used to use, like, literally a year ago when I first came on the show, I was using the, I don't even remember the name of the app now, but like where it did, like people could modify it themselves and stuff. And then I had all these items.
Oh, Zakiki?
Yeah, Zakiki. But I didn't actually keep it because whenever I had like a handful of people who tried to use it and they just got confused, I would try to explain it to them and then they got still confused. And I was like, just send me the file, which is what, you know, should have, like, would have happened anyways. And it didn't actually save me time. So I was like, okay, got rid of that, save money. So like, don't, you know, try optimizing your stuff like Boy said, but it doesn't always have to just be files. It can be other stuff. And then like updating my files and taking new photos. Like there's so many things you can do. But the other thing too is like joining groups and learning. Like I've learned so much on nights where I have downtime. I come out here and I just bullshit with whoever's around and, you know, tippy tap on the computer, type, and go get invested in the groups because you can find some amazing groups, get some good deals, all kinds of cool stuff just by being, you know, part of the community.
Yeah,
like
you really like you have to. I think that's something I need to work on, and I've gotten a lot better about it. But like, you have to give up on things that aren't working. It's like really big, dude. I've invested so much money into this business, both the YouTube end, the laser shop end, like every part of it through all of its evolutions on things that I've had to like let go of. You know what I mean? I've spent so much money. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on preparing my space for interacting with customers and serving customers. You know what I mean? And then like I let all of that go. And there's some things just don't work, you know, and you have to be like, I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to do YouTube. I'm going to just, you know, keep engraving stuff because I spend all that money. I mean, just imagine it. You know what I mean? Like my life would be so much different right now if I hadn't taken this opportunity, and that required like letting an investment on something that I thought was going to be the, you know, the right path, like go. And that goes for anything. If you have a rotary tool that isn't working, you know what I mean? Like, let the $300 go and try a different one.
Yeah, and that's what Miranda's saying too.
Yeah,
and that's what Facebook Marketplace is for. If it's not working for you, sell it.
Yeah, and by the way, like what's funny is as you guys are saying this shit. So last night, my friend Andrew, who just joined the Discord, he just bought a K40. I told him not to. But he just bought a K40. He's like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I know nothing. Yeah. These are actually just laser pointers. So anyways, he bought the K40. He's working on it and stuff. And he's doing good, though. Oh, look, there he is in chat. What the fuck, Andrew?
Hi, bud.
What a shit stick. Anyways, so he came. I mean, if he's my friend, he has to be. But he came over and, yeah, see, look, he's. That's great. Good. You know,
we love you. It's okay.
I said it to his face yesterday. But anyways, he came over and brought the diode yesterday, and he was like, your shop is like my dad's drawer when you're a kid. You know how your dad has like that drawer you're not supposed to touch? And it's got like knives, guns, bullets, whatever the hell is it. And you're just like, one day they're not there, and you're like Andrew literally was like looking through every box on every shelf. And he's like, do you even know what these are? What are these for? Where do you got them? And I was literally sitting there thinking like, I guess I should sell some of this shit. Like Alicia Pate started a group called Let It Go, and it's a laser. It's for like when you have. So let's say you bought a case of 48 Arctic cups because it's a deal and you're making money and it's that sunk cost. I can't let go of these cups because I got to get my money back. You can just sell them. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and there's people who
recoup some money.
Yeah, and like you can sell them for the same price you bought them. Get that money back, reinvest it, because if you sold 20 of them, that means you have 28 left because an Arctic case is 48 cups. So you have 28, and if they're $10 each that you paid for them, that's $280. That's a down payment on a new laser. That's like buying a tool that can make your life easier. That's half of
That's another case of product. of something else that you can sell.
So anyways, and that's one of those things where it's like I literally do have a lot of things where like I bought them just to have them and then sold half of them. And so it's like, okay. And the cool thing is it is all profit, but it's also, so yeah. And it really is like that idea of just letting it go. Let it go swap group is what.
Yeah.
Miranda posted it in chat for anybody looking. That's definitely a good tip. Because I know a lot of people just let stuff, take up half their shop and it's not moving, it's not going anywhere, it collects dust. That's downtime. You have to work around that stuff, right?
I'm looking for it and it's not coming up right away for me. I hate
the laser supply. I got you.
Somebody mentioned to me that part of them getting motivated was their workspace. You know what I mean? I cannot work in an unkept workspace.
Oh, that was me. I said that in Slack.
Did you say that in?
Yeah.
Oh, was that in Slack?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I saw it in live chat too. But if that was you, let me know. But yeah, dude, like I had my shit has to be like I have to clean my whole shop, and that can seep very easily into procrastination too. But
yeah,
you gotta like.
That's right, man.
An organized shop is an organized mind.
So much of that stuff, dude, like that.
Oh, Cameron said it.
Cameron
said it. It's so true.
Like he's right.
You could think.
I'll find it.
You could think like, oh, there's 12, Arctics in this box, and then you go back there and you look, and it's like 12 empty Arctic boxes, and there aren't actually any tumblers in there. Like, so much of that stuff is just like trash, dude. Work area is my biggest motivation killer. Trying to work on space. That is off limits to my wife. Okay, so I scanned through that a little too quickly. But,
got the idea though.
Yeah, I did get the idea, dude. I mean, like, yeah, you can even physically be limited by your workspace too, right, Kyle?
That is a major difficulty for me. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but this isn't a very big room.
It's killing you.
There's not much space that way.
I used to be able to see the blue poo, and now there's another bench.
Literally, if you haven't noticed,
that bench is on wheels for a reason.
It's on wheels.
Lasers have slowly been.
Everything in my shop is on wheels.
And they're all moving in behind him,
like literally
murder him.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen Doctor Who. Like when you blink and the angels move at you, like that's Kyle's fucking lasers. Like the 120, he's gonna blink, and the 120 watts gonna be like.
It's like a devastating version of the Brave Little Toaster, where they kill the boy.
I'm in the works of figuring out a workspace, unfortunately, or expanding it, or building one, or
that affects what you're able to get done.
By the way,
it does. Yeah, so if I'm working on a project on the blue poo for like Gantry Crash Course, for example. There's a whole workbench I have to move out of the way. And if I'm doing maintenance or adding something or changing something on the gantry, it means I have to move both workbenches to pull the CO2 out from the wall and work on it from behind. Yeah. So it's a juggle.
Do you see Miranda down here? Alex's room is a disaster. Yeah. I don't know who he's talking about. The fact of the matter is, all 5 of us.
Those Pokemon add to the ambiance. I don't know what you're talking about.
They reflect the light in a really nice way.
Right. It's like,
I'm working my way through the pile. All 5 of us have spent a considerable amount of time over the last 3 months working and reworking our spaces. Yeah. Like
constantly moving and changing. I like it the way it is. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, here we go. And half of it's torn apart.
It's not working anymore.
If I can count how many times Jimmy has told me about his benches.
Yep.
Yeah, his little workbench. I got a new table. I got a new workbench.
You get 48 inches. It's got a shelf. It's got to shut the drawers.
He's like, I didn't like the way the exhaust was blowing in the northeastern wind, so I ripped out the fans and I put in a new one.
It comes from the west, Alex.
The hole still sits over there too. See it?
I know. You still got that old ass hole.
I put a blanket in there.
There. Look at Vince. Vince said it like a pro. If it's a horizontal surface, it will collect shit.
That's true.
It's so damn true.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. So
definitely don't look at that workbench behind me. That's a bad example.
If you find you're having trouble, to put a bow on that, if you find you're having trouble focusing, maybe look up and look around and see if you have a lot of clutter around you. And if you do, maybe it's distracting you. Maybe it's stressing you out. Try cleaning up your workspace and then working again with a little less.
That is definitely me. That's for sure.
Two things that come to mind then for you guys. One, I'm glad that Andrew got into lasers because he got a CNC, which is awesome. Having a friend who's a woodworker, by the way. So shout out. He's helped me fix a whole bunch of stuff. Like I've messed up boards and I was going to toss them in the fire. And he's like, I can just sand that down for you with special tools. And I was like, oh,
dude.
And so like,
it's just so bad. Don't get me started.
So anyways, yeah, you're going to put it next to you. Like you'll look like Kyle. But, then the other thing too, it's really cool having somebody who's getting into it because like all the stuff that I'm a scrap hoarder because I know that somebody's going to need a keychain one day and I'm going to have to cut it from like $100 piece of acrylic instead of just having like a scrap piece. Yeah. And so it's cool having.
Want to see all mine?
No, I know you're the same as me. We're all five of us are fucking.
It's freaking horrible, and every time you go underneath there to grab a good piece, you're like, "Fuck!" You got to move all the shit up. I'm gonna throw that out. I'm gonna. By the way, no,
I started. You know what I started doing just because I'm ADD. I literally started taking the scrap just to get rid of it because I told myself this is stupid, and I'm making keychains and tags with my lasers or my symbol on it. So that way I can like attach it to stuff with a piece of like leather cordage or something. So or a piece of twine to make it look all
I wish Michael was here this week because when I worked at Michael's shop, he built out of like literally just like sheets of plywood, like this super tall shelf. But instead of the shelves being like horizontal, they were like vertical. And then we put all the flat stock in there like vertical, and it works so much better that way.
That's what I got over here.
I wish I had a picture of it. Maybe I do. I'll look while you guys chat.
So the other thing I was going to say is if you've got friends who are new to the hobby or the business, like hook them up with the stuff that you're not using. Because like I think yesterday he left with probably like $60, $70 worth of just stuff. Like acrylic sheets, colored acrylic, different thickness acrylics for the new laser that he got to test.
Use some of that to test that.
Yeah, I bet. I'll send you a box of shit. Don't worry. Not a box of scrap, just a box of shit. Laser.
I figured.
But anyway, yeah. That'll be a great story. So anyways, and then the other thing I was going to ask you guys, a couple of you have had workshops. Like I know Jimmy's got his actual physical shop out there. And then Alex, you had / have the shop. So my thing is I spent probably 3 hours with my dad the other day driving around town looking at shops. So like that's my thing too, is like when are you outgrowing the space you're in to where it's actually impeding you? Because like I have like in my house, I'll get an order of stuff from JDS. It has to sit there for a couple of days and then I have to tote it through and like individually. So like at what point do you move to a shop? What are you looking for and all that kind of stuff too? I mean, anybody got thoughts on that, or have you like Kyle, I know you've been looking at ideas for like outside.
I mean, I've been looking at houses, but with that, I've also been incorporating, space to build a shop, or if it's got like, you can see the space I'm working with. If I upgraded to even like an extended 1-car garage, that would be triple or more the amount of space I'm working with now. So you can obviously make it work with a small shop, but you can be way more efficient with something you can actually fit your tools in and move around the space without having to shuffle everything, right?
Always go bigger than what you expect.
Yeah.
Always.
And I've also toyed with the idea of with a house purchase and a land purchase, building my own like